being as far as most of our political leadership is concerned. Let me make the bigger point. Will you allow me without interruption? Sure. I think the reality is there will be obfuscation if you don't change the statutes under which the BCCI will function hereafter. Which means if it functions as a corporation, I'm not interested in public sector, private sector, it must be accountable. Its financials must be subject to probity, like most companies are. The tragedy here is that a shroud of secrecy has always engulfed the BCCI. And let me assure you, this public sector, Navratna, government, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen until you shame the present BCCI regime into actually resigning. And let me tell you, that too will not happen. That too will not happen.
Let's have the politicians. The fact is, from where Sanjay said, I think we tend to lament a lot, and I'm saying this in my personal capacity. It's not a government or a policy decision of the Congress party. But this is something where the story can be taken forward. Nothing of this is going to happen voluntarily by itself. None of this. Absolutely. And that's a pipe dream. But where one concrete thing can be done is, if political parties across the board, at least some of them, and the key ones, get together to propose a simple two-line legislation that heads of sport bodies cannot repeat more than one term in 2 consecutive times.
Why should politicians be running?
One minute. No. You cannot exclude. You are saying why? At the moment, the regime is that you can endlessly and for eternity go on.
So that's my point. Change the statutes of BCCI.
Hang on.
At least one-term rule.
Why do you say politicians should run?
Because the premise behind this constant thing that politicians should go out is that only politicians are corrupt. And everybody else is Ganga Jal ka dhula.
Nobody should be allowed.
Now, therefore,
more than one term.
Maybe it would be less.
But I can damage a brand in one term.
It's to a mess. There were no politicians when the whole match fixing thing happened in the past. The politicians, not politicians. Politicians were not responsible for Harshad Mehta or Ketan Parekh that Suhail was talking about.
I have a very simple common sense question, which is that what business do politicians have to run sports in this country? Why do we do that?
Politicians' only business is business to do with sports.
But Nidhi, you will destroy.
Politicians bring a lot of value.
You will destroy.
What is that value? What is that value?
Nidhi, talking about.
No.
Who should run it?
The facility.
Let me ask the question. If everybody feels politicians or somebody, who should run it?
Why not
it will be one of us from this country.
Why not professional cricketers? Those who've retired from the game.
Look, I mean, you can question. It's about an individual, whoever's running it. What does a professional cricketer...
What's your view?
I think whoever's capable of running it. Whatever.
Why should
there are demands on that job. Somebody who has to run a BCCI.
Can I tell you one thing? 1 minute. I don't care. Frankly,
anybody it is.
1 minute.
Today a BCCI actually dealing with a $4 billion valuation needs people with great money management skills. They need fantastic people to understand merchandising. They need great negotiators. Now, where do you get them from? You get them from various talented professionals from all walks of life. So, Mike, listen, the point I'm trying to make, maybe Suhail said from brand management, I don't know. But the point I'm going to make, Nidhi, is if we have to look constructively towards the future, it cannot be a self-regulated BCCI because that has been a proven failure. I think let's ask the
question. 1 minute, I want to make one large, 1 minute, I want to make one dangerous.
Should the government regulate? I would like to know from Sanjay that is he suggesting the government should regulate sports bodies?
No.
I'm not saying that.
I just want to warn you of one thing. I want to warn you of one thing.
But let me ask you, how does a Bharat Petroleum, how does an Indian
ask me today? Ministers requisition cars from them.
Fair enough.
Let's not give Bharat Petroleum example. These are all crooks.
But Suhail, do you know that some of the best management professionals are working there as well? There is a lot more transparency today than we can imagine.
Subir Raha was a brilliant...
And by the way, in the stock market, the PSU stocks are amongst the best.
Subir Raha was a brilliant manager. He's unfortunately dead and he was evicted out of office because the minister didn't want...
Let's not go there. Let me get the audience... There's lots of questions. Yes, go ahead.
So, my question goes to Mr. Chandan Mitra. So, what right does the BJP have to, demand the resignation of Shashi Tharoor after its Karnataka unit is promoting the Reddy brothers, when the Reddy brothers are eating up thousands of crores in Karnataka and still remaining ministers and MLAs there?
No, you see, I think the issues are not related at all. My friend's party has been trying to surreptitiously suggest this, but see, there is no connection at all.
He's not related to the party.
Look, the issue in Karnataka is a matter before the courts, and nothing has been proven as yet. in Shashi Tharoor case, there was a clear-cut case of misuse of ministerial authority.
Nothing was technically proven against Shashi Tharoor.
This is what I'm worried about. You're making a cricket slander debate into a political argument.
I tell you the difference. The difference is that a national newspaper did an investigative journalism. For 1 month, they carried out facts, photographs with investigative journalism for a sitting cabinet minister, and that is the difference. But in Shashi Tharoor's case, there was no investigative journalism and no final report.
But here the BJP, 1 minute, I have to say this. The BJP slogan with the Bellari brothers was, "Give us Swaraj, we'll give you the Reddys." And you know what I'm hinting at.
Can I say something? I mean, the day Ravi Shankar Prasad went ballistic in a press conference demanding Shashi Tharoor's head, he did not utter a word about the 50 million apparent kickback that, the Mr. Gaikwad of the Kochi Enterprise accused Mr. Modi of. So I think the BJP needs to get its act together. Was Shashi Tharoor's head more important, or the larger issue of corruption? And what I feel is, right now I can tell you, the highest standard of the Teflon texture of this country to corruption is the fact that tonight there will be an IPL awards night which will go on as if all that we are spending time getting all het up about doesn't matter. There are people going to perform, there are awards going to be given, and people are going to celebrate the IPL.
Are the awards fixed?
I mean, that's
who's getting the awards.
These allegations that have come up about match fixing today, what we've heard from sources in the IT department is that they're taking them seriously against 27 cricketers. I don't know what you're hearing about that, whether this is very, very serious or whether it's just prima facie. What is it?
You see, the whole structure of IPL, the way it is, Nidhi, it's a game where anything can happen to the last ball. 90% of the matches get over in the last over. So the element of subterfuge, you can really, a cricketer, if he wants to really fix a match, is going to be very, very difficult to corroborate and establish. So if the income tax has got some kind of evidence, it has to be not by just seeing the game, it has to be through telephonic conversation, something that they have caught, as I would call in candid camera. The nature of the game is very difficult to prove that somebody deliberately gave in, because in this game you're taking risk all the time.
All right, I have to take a break, because when we come back, we have just enough time to talk about brand IPL. What happens to the IPL itself? Does it even make a difference to the average cricket fan? Whatever we're talking about here in the studio tonight, that's after the break. Welcome back. As we look at the mess in the IPL, our final question tonight, will brand IPL ever be the same again? Let me first ask Ajay Jadeja that as a cricketer. Do you think the brand has been tarnished?
Look, I think the brand IPL, the cricket brand of it is not tarnished yet, thank God. There's nothing that's been, nobody's against that at the moment. So there is no problem. But the sponsors and people who are going to invest in the IPL, I'm sure they will be worried, because a lot of people are being targeted. And I don't think any business house wants to get into something where the main business is ever going to be questioned. So there will be people who will stay away from the IPL.
Neither, in my opinion, the brand is basically a reputation. Brand is an asset. And